Good morning. Today we're going to cover the top 10 Sox trends in 2016. We want to share with you what we see working with multiple clients and various Big Six auditors. At the end of each year, our team gets together to share lessons learned and see how we can proactively help our clients plan for the upcoming year. So we're going to cover 10 areas: cybersecurity, increased focus on system controls, ITGCs, complications during system implementations, more report and spreadsheet testing, detailed entity level controls, system segregation of duties analysis, statement of cash flow controls, related party disclosure controls, management review controls, and minimum documentation standards. Cybersecurity is very sexy right now. Many people associate cybersecurity with just IT systems. That's true, but at its core, cybersecurity is about business risk management. The bad guys now have more electronic tools, but it's still about your business. Here's some ways that our clients are fighting back. System access. Who has privileged access accounts and how to quickly remove them? Governance and risk management programs, actively managing the risk, bringing together a team to discuss these types of problems. Also, security monitoring, incident management programs, proactively monitoring and seeing responses to the incidents, tracking certain trends to see if there's high volumes in particular areas. Having a security awareness program. This is helping to combat social engineering. If you remember several months back, we had a series on the email fraud and the email phishing where the scammers were going into pretending to be high-level CEOs and CFOs to authorize wire transfers. There's also the threat and vulnerability management program that our clients are putting in, which is the proactive ongoing discussion, doing penetration testing as an example, thinking of various scenarios that people could attack the company's systems. There's also the patch management process, meaning focused on taking care of the easy updates, the patches to the various systems as the vendors release new patches, putting those patches quickly. The vendor risk management program, which is identifying the vendors in your supply chain that if they were breached that could impact your company. And then looking at data classification programs, classifying certain data within the company to say which is high risk and what's worth protecting, such as social security numbers, health types of information, personal identifiable information. So that's what our clients focus on for cybersecurity. There's also then increased focus on system controls because of the cybersecurity angle. And this is where the auditors are now looking at the system controls and the general IT controls even closer than they were before. They're reviewing controls to make sure we have accurate descriptions. They're testing to make sure it's operating effectively. They're checking if the controls would actually mitigate the risk, the design of the actual controls, and they're increasing their testing samples and doing additional testing. Then we have complications during system implementations. Our clients now, whenever they're doing new system implementations, really focus on the accuracy and the completeness of the data migration. So when you're upgrading to a system like an Oracle 11i to an R12, for example, user profiles are given new functionalities. Do you have a process in place to make sure that the user profiles are still appropriate for the new system and have segregated responsibilities or duties, and ensuring that the SOX controls carry through in the new system as well? We're also seeing more report and spreadsheet testing. And this is where an instance is if you currently use Oracle, there may be key reports like the AR aging or the trial balance that will be tested. Some of them are easy to get from the system, but others may be harder if the system has been customized and there's more systems involved or the data is being pulled from multiple tables. There's also more focused on electronic audit evidence and IPE, or information produced by an entity. This means that the auditors are asking how the information was generated. Is it complete? Is it accurate? Does it have integrity? And you have to be able to prove that the source data generated for your report is accurate and complete. Number 5 is detailed entity level controls. Remember the COSO 2013 framework? We've mapped controls for the 17 points of focus and principles. Since 2015, we're seeing more requests to expand the level of detail in the control language to ensure that the description covers the 17 points even more. If you haven't refreshed your COSO mapping or looked at some of the language around entity level controls, you may want to do that in 2016. Number 6 is system segregation of duties analysis. So the auditors are talking about analyzing within the systems the segregation of duties and the roles and responsibilities. It's important to complete the segregation of duties early in the year so that you can identify the gaps early. This gives you enough time to fix things and to avoid the mad scramble at the end of the year. Now, many of our clients have proper segregation of duties or mitigating controls for their segregation of duties, and they've done the analysis. Unfortunately, they forget to write a memo or a summary once they're done. In those cases, when the auditors come, now you have to scramble and walk through what you've done already. So our advice is to write a short memo on the analysis and add your conclusion to it. Number 7 is statement of cash flows. In 2015, our clients saw auditors asking about controls around the statement of cash flows. Expect this to be a normal part of the process in 2016. If you haven't made the change yet, consider doing it this year. Because it's not typically system generated, the statement of cash flows, how do you ensure that you have proper controls over how the statement of cash flows is prepared? That's the basic question the auditors are asking. And these are the areas they're going to ask you. How does the information get generated? Who's involved in creating the cash flow? Who's involved in reviewing it? What's the timing? How do you know some of the special circumstances or acquisitions and mergers or things that should belong in the statement of cash flow? How do you know that it's not being netted versus presented gross? Number 8 is related party disclosure controls. Another hot and heavy issue in 2015 that we continue to see in 2016. You want to make sure that you have controls around related party transactions and their appropriate disclosures. The new PCAOB standard also requires more audit procedures from the auditors. And we know that as soon as the auditors have additional procedures, it impacts us. Number 9 is management review controls. This has been around for the past 2 to 3 years in terms of focus, and it's the enhanced level of details and the narratives to include more criteria for the MRC reviews. The auditors are making sure that you have specific dollar thresholds for your review and asking, what's your criteria for review? Our clients have also been classifying the management review controls in high, medium, and low categories just to help them focus their efforts. And it was very heavy and a lot of scrutiny 2 years ago. It's really decreased only because our clients have really beefed up their documentation, and so the auditors have moved on to other things. And number 10 is minimum documentation standards. If you will remember, back in 2004 when SOX was first passed, the control owners had to sign off and date everything reviewed. And over time it got more laxed. Now I see the trend is back and you have to sign off and add the date. It's no longer acceptable to write just approved. You have to document that you've looked at the assumptions or asked the questions and ensured that everything's been addressed, and you have to keep evidence of the follow-up questions too. So that's it on the 10 top trends for 2016 in SOX. Hope you have a great day.